You're watching us here on Your Stocks, a show where we answer all your stocks and investment-related queries. I'm Mangalam Malu, and what a day this is to answer all your stock and investment-related queries as well. We've hit a record high on the Nifty. From there, we've seen a bit of profit-taking, but nothing really to worry about. The mid-caps have been underperforming a tad after a big run that we've seen. The Nifty seems to have found its feet around that 21,500 mark from where we turned around today. The mid-cap index sitting with gains of about 1/3%. The Nifty Bank is the standout performer, having hit a fresh record high on that index as well, now meandering around that 48,000 mark. Ultratech, the market cap has crossed 3 lakh crores for the first time ever. That's what our ticker team alerts us. A 4% up move is what we've seen. And a lot of the cement stocks are doing well today, largely on account of a brokerage note that has come by in morning itself from Nomura. But to answer all your stocks and investment-related queries, we do have Rajat Bose of rajatkbose.com and Sharad Avasthi, who's the Head-PCG Research at SMIFS, to answer all your queries. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining in. Let's talk about a query that has come in from Telangana. Rajesh writes to us. He holds about 370 shares of Gati at a price of 169 rupees for more than a year. He wants to know the future price of the stock post the company's merger plans with Allcargo Logistics. Now, we did get the management of Allcargo Logistics join us to explain the whole merger plan, where first what they will do is take away the international supply chain business, and of the remaining business, for every 10 shares held in Gati, they will give about 63 shares of the remainder of Allcargo Logistics. And as a result of which, there was a flight of capital towards Allcargo Logistics as against Allcargo Gati, because if you bought Allcargo Logistics, you would get to participate in both the international supply chain business in Gati as well as the express chain business, and we would have the holding company discount evaporated as well. Gati, as a result of which, has been a bit of an underperformer over the last few trading sessions. Sharad, your thoughts on the entire logistics space? I know you don't particularly track Gati, but is there any logistics company that you track, and basis that you can give an advice?
Yeah, I think the logistics space per se should do very well. We are very bullish on the space. And specifically, if we could take something, I think Mahindra Logistics to bet on. I think a lot of happen in the numbers. So Mahindra Logistics.
Okay, you like Mahindra Logistics in the logistics space. Meanwhile, a couple of these auto stocks are doing extremely well. Bajaj Auto has taken a leg up right now, has moved to the high point of trade. So, in the day itself, we've seen some bit of a sector shift. Starting point of today's trading session, we saw a bit of an up move come by on a lot of these, IT names that have begun to give back a little. So the IT index is virtually at the lower end of today's trading range. But, now we have other leaders of the market right now. Auto stocks have started to move higher. Cement stocks have started to move higher. A couple of these consumer stocks as well. Tata Consumer has been doing all through today's trading session, continues to move higher, a fresh record high on that one. And we have some support coming in from the likes of Bharti Airtel as well, which has now moved to the high point of today's trading session. We have Rajat joining in as well. Rajat, our viewer had a query on Allcargo Gati. Do you have any chart check or any view on Allcargo Gati?
Good afternoon, Mangalam. Thank you for having me. I would say that looking at the chart of Allcargo Gati, the chart shows a breakdown. Now it needs to take out 130 for a minimum, if not 140, because even if it were to come back to, say, 130 plus levels, unless it takes out 140 or above, it would not really see any kind of fresh buying. On the contrary, if it were to start going down again, then it might even hit 110. I wouldn't really suggest that anybody should be doing any kind of bottom fishing, because on the day that the stock failed, there was huge volume. The volume was about 8.37 million shares, and after that it could not recover. That day the low was 117, and currently it is ruling around, say, 124. So it's not much of a recovery. So I would suggest getting out of this stock.
All right, get out of this stock, even if it means a 30% capital loss that you have. You entered at around 168. Currently, the stock is closer to 120 itself. Meanwhile, a couple of these other cement stocks which are not part of the FNO or the frontline indices doing well as well. Kesoram, for instance, is up around 4.5%, 5%. We are seeing a decent move come by on a couple of these other names as well. Matrimony, for instance, is another stock which has seen some volume uptick, up around 6%. Chirag Sikka writes to us from New Delhi, holds about 250 shares of Tes Networks at 700. Wants to know whether he should book his profits or not. Sitting on a decent profit of close to around 40,000 odd rupees, buy price 700, the stock close to 867, which is a near 20-25% sort of return that he's making. Sharad, do you track this one, and your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting story. I've been tracking it since the IPO. The recent developments, the Tata Group getting into the company and the recent BSNL order really changes the game for the company. I think with the strong backing of a strong group, I think there is a high possibility that they will address a much larger share of the 5.5 lakh TAM, 5 lakh crore TAM that is available to them. And I think 5G as a space should grow very well, and Tejas is optically placed to use that growth. The order book is around 9,200 crores. The current sales are around 1,500, 1,600 crores. And most of these revenues are to be booked over the order book has to be executed over the next 1.5 years. So I think there could be a very big jump, even broader expectations. You could expect 35, 40 kind of multiple easily for the company. And I think 30 kind of earnings would be possible for the company to report on the basis of this order alone. And then as and when they grow, that's another kicker. So I think 1100, 1200 would be the fair value add assigned to Tejas. I still think there is more upside there. So continue to hold.
All right. 1100 to 1200 would mean a near doubling of his, buy price of closer around 700. So 1200 would be around 80% in terms of returns. Your thoughts, Rajat, on Tes Networks?
I would say that this is a good company and it is maintaining an uptrend. Of course, the higher levels, there had been some selling, but unless it falls below 800, I wouldn't really suggest that the investor should get out of it. On the contrary, one should be patient. Even I feel that it would cross 950 and it would go higher. So I would suggest a hold with a stop below 800 on closing price basis.
All right. The next one, Shyam Gupta writes to us from Noida. He has an investment query. He wants to know if he can invest in Lux Industries and Delivery for a 3-year horizon. Now, these are queries that, that make more sense, where you've actually decided on a stock and asked for a query before entering into that counter itself, and you've defined your time horizon as well. So kudos to you for that, Shyam. Sharad, now that we have a query, we have a defined time horizon as well, and we've seen companies that he's identified. You did say that you like Mahindra Logistics in the logistics space. Do you think Delivery can outperform Mahindra Logistics if he has to hold for a 3-year horizon? And Lux Industries, the entire innerway space has been buzzing around all through this year. More than Page Industries, we've seen moves come by in names like Rux, Rupa, etc. What are your thoughts? Should he invest after this big move that we've seen?
Firstly, regarding the logistics space, I think Delivery is a good company, but the numbers might take a bit more than 3 years. Over the next 2-3 years, the expectations are not very optimal. Even if you consider the numbers that we were working on prior to this, it was around a 10 rupee EPS. So it's already trading at somewhere around 30-35 times even based on that. So 30-32 times. So I think Delivery optimally would not make sense for a 3-year horizon. But the positive side for Delivery is that they have built up huge capacities which can address the needs of the express cargo requirement. And the fact that some combinations of trailers and larger trucks being used and the godowns being there for them to use those higher tonnage trucks, that could substantially improve the logistics with GST implementation and everything. It is making more sense to handle the larger cargo. I think growth would be there, and there is a possibility that you could have 20, 25, 30% improvement on those numbers. For understanding the numbers, right now the per vehicle movement they have is around 13,000, 14,000, and this can be increased to around 30,000 kilometers. So that is the kind of scale benefit that Delivery can play on. And I think good frontline larger courier company should be in a sweet spot in the long term. But 3 years might not be ideal actually. I think if Delivery, you would ideally need to extend your horizon to around 5 years. I think by then most of these changes would start showing on the numbers. Some improvement will be visible even in the next 1-2 years, but next year also the expectation is that earnings would be very subtle. So FY26 onwards, you would see some rapid improvement. So delivery, extend your horizon to around 5 years, then it makes sense. Amongst the two, I feel Lux is much better placed. The innerwear industry, as you rightly played, has been hit by two things: higher inventory as well as higher raw material costs. Raw material costs are gradually normalizing now, so the second half of this year, which is this quarter and next quarter, should largely be better for these companies. Till last quarter, whatever numbers we saw, the inventory build-up has not really reduced that much. I think gradually as that reduction happens, that would largely play out for most of these companies. They have diversified into different areas. Lux has also focused on premiumization of its product basket. So FY26, we are expecting 15-16% kind of top line growth, and it should do around a EPS of around 112. I think 20 times would be easily possible for the companies once this inventory and your raw material pressure eases out, which should happen over the next 6 months to 1 year. So Lux Industries is a good idea for targets of around 2000 to start with, and further re-rating from there on. But for delivery, I think you would need a 5-year kind of horizon to make some decent money out of it.
Rajat, do you track any of these names?
Well, I would say that regarding delivery, I would say that this is showing a major distribution. In fact, it has already come down. You will see an inverted saucer pattern, and it is unable to sustain at higher levels, and it is showing considerable weakness. So if it were to fall below, say, 375 to about 360, this is the major support zone for this stock, then it can actually go down and hit even 340. As of now, from a technical point of view, delivery is not giving any buy signal. Coming to Lux Industries, I would say that I've checked the monthly chart, the weekly chart, as well as the daily chart. Everywhere the moving averages are going down, the stock price is going down. So this is not the right stock to choose. I would say that you better look for stocks that are actually performing well, but has not appreciated much. The return ratios are good. There is a good moat. I don't think Lux Industries classifies positively in any of these parameters. So from technical point of view as well as from fundamental point of view, I can't recommend Lux Industries.
All right, you can't recommend Lux Industries, though that delivery is showing some signs of distribution. There is some supply overhang out there as well. SoftBank holds about 18.5% stake in the company. So let's see whether that deal gets done or not. That would be a major overhang lifted from the counter once and if and when that happens. Take a short break, come back, answer more of your queries on the other side. Stay tuned.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter-century of excellence. CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter-century of excellence.
It's a day of fresh highs. Not only did we see a fresh high come by on the Nifty earlier in the afternoon, we have Tata Motors. That's another stock which is moving higher, up 3% at a high for that stock, 741. Fresh 52-week high, perhaps a fresh record high on that counter too. On the other hand, we have Suzlon, which has again been one of the bigger movers in this year, has bagged another order for about 108 megawatts coming in from Nordic Energy Co. to supply 32 wind turbines. This did come by a few minutes ago, but now it has hit the exchanges as well officially. A big move coming on Tata Motors, Suzlon, as well as Tata Consumer. But we are answering all your stock and investment related queries. We still have Rajat Bose and Sharad Avasthi with us. Let's move on to Prakash Nair. He writes to us from Tamil Nadu, holds about 100 shares of Divis Labs at about 2,000 rupees, wants to know what he should be doing. 2,000 rupees, he's nearly doubled his money, close to around 2 lakh rupees is what he's made in terms of profit. Sharad, do you track Divis, and your thoughts now that he's doubled? Do you think some profit booking is warranted, or maybe continue to ride?
Yeah, I think some profit booking can be done from here. The optimistic targets could be around 4,500 on the stock. The new contrast drugs that they are developing, that should start kicking in next year. The Kakinada project COD is also expected Q4 this year or Q1 next year. That should result in some improvement happening in the company. Even margins have improved from the lower levels, and we are expecting them to stabilize over the next 2 years around 38% on EBITDA level. And top line and bottom line growth should be 20%, 20 to 25%, and 35 to 40%. FY26, 128 rupee kind of earnings, 30-35 times is very much possible for this company to get. I think this Kakinada project commercialization could be a very big trigger for the company. So you continue to hold on for, or gradually book profits from here, 4,000 to 4,500. I think that's the band where some profit booking or most of the profit booking can be done.
All right. Shanmugam Lakshmi writes to us from Chennai, holds about 4,000 shares of Power Grid Infrastructure Investments. That's the Power Grid InvIT that you have at about 107. She wants to know the future prospects of this. Lost about 7% of her holdings in this, losing about 28,000 rupees. Rajat, do you track this?
Is it Power Grid or
Power Grid InvIT?
No, I don't track this, so I would give it a go by.
All right, we'll pass that on. The next one that we have is, again, Shanmugan Lakshmi. She writes to us from Chennai, holds about 1,800 shares of Prakash Industries. Do you track Prakash Industries?
Yeah, Prakash Industries, it's in an uptrend now, and one should continue to hold on because from a technical point of view, I would say that the correction that we saw over the last 4-5 sessions, I think that is true, and now it is going to move up. I would put a stop loss below 160 and ask the investor to continue to hold it.
Okay, from Chennai, let's move up northward. Suresh Bahrani writes to us from Bhopal, holds about 250 shares of Gujarat State Petroleum at 25 rupees. Wants to know whether to hold or sell, making a decent amount of money as well. Bought it at 25, bought 250 shares, made a near 10 bagger or actually a 12 bagger from where he bought. The only regret he might be having is he didn't buy more than just the 250 shares that he did buy. Your thoughts, Sharad, on this? Do you track Gujarat State Petronet? And after a 10-12 bagger move, what do you suggest a person does?
Yeah, it's an excellent thing to happen. As you rightly said, maybe the allocation's a bit on the faulty side. But GSPL, I think, still has credentials to go up. They have a stake in Gujarat Gas, 54% stake. That alone is valued at around 15,500 crore. And Gujarat Gas also has not done much. It's also trading at depleted prices. And the market cap of the company is around 16,000 crores. They have 13,000 crore of capex through JVs, which they are undergoing. I think most of it has commissioning in September and December 24 in a staggered fashion. We think there is substantial upside to the company. For FY26, the consolidated earnings should be somewhere around 37-38. I think easily it should get 12-13 times. So 450-500 is the target for which you can continue to hold GSPL.
Oh, wow, 450-500. If that's the target, then perhaps it wouldn't hurt for him to actually up his allocation as well from current levels. He's already sitting on a 12 bagger, maybe ups his allocation and sees a 2x move from current levels too as well. We're coming towards the end of the show, so gentlemen, let's keep it very crisp. Gurbinder Singh Bedi has written to us from Noida. He has a blank check question. He wants to invest in the auto sector, asks if he can invest in either TVS, M&M or Maruti. Your thoughts, Rajat? I'll allow you to go first.
I would say that M&M, among the three, M&M would be my choice, and but Tata Motors would have fit the bill the best.
I was wondering the same, Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors have been stocks which have been doing well, as is Hero. So wonder why he chose only these three. But Sharad, your thoughts quickly?
Yeah, I think my best picks within the auto space would be Tata Motors or Ashok Leyland. I think both stocks have decent upside. The rest of them seem to be near fair value or fully valued. So I think it's better you stick to Tata Motors or an Ashok Leyland.
Okay, so if you are watching this right now, Tata Motors is the view coming in from our experts. But if you had to choose between TVS, M&M or Maruti, which one would you choose, Sharad?
I think M&M still looks better with the EV launches and the new tractor launches that could provide some impetus to the numbers. I think you could work with a target of somewhere around 95 into 20 times, 1900 kind of target. So M&M would be the best pick, I think.
All right, M&M would be the best pick. Gentlemen, Rajat, Sharad, thank you so much for joining in case we don't speak before the year ends again this week. Then from me, our team, to you, your families, your teams, a very, very happy 2024 and hope to get your sane, sage advice on investments and trades from our viewers, from both of you all. Wish you the best.
Same to you. Thank you.
Sharad, Rajat. So those were all the queries that we had for you. Just before we wrap up, a look at the markets. Nifty, briefly after a dip of profit booking from record highs, is now stabilized, is moving above that 21,550 mark. The Nifty Bank too is mildly comfortable above that 48,000 mark. A lot of individual stocks doing well. Our ticker team did alert us about Ultratech, which has hit a fresh record high today, hitting the 3 lakh crore mark in terms of market cap. We have Tata Consumer, which is at a fresh record high. Tata Motors at a fresh record high. A bunch of these Tata Group stocks doing extremely well as well. And now pharmaceutical stocks seem to have joined the party too, with a gain on Dr. Reddy's, which is doing well. And from the broader markets, we have another bunch of stocks which are spiking right now. Navin Fluorine is the other one, which is up about 2% at the high point. Delta Corp, usually does well in the last couple of days of December itself, given the nature of the business that the company is in. So that stock too has moved higher, though regulatory issues continue to be hurdles for Delta Corp itself. From the pharma pack, Zydus Life from the broader markets doing well too. We have HDFC Bank, though it's the top contributor on the way up for the markets. Take a short break, come back, and on the other side we have Closing Bell taking you through the last hour of trade.